Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 18 of What If Naruto Had the Ultimate Nature Bloodline. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto is Abandoned and Awaken the Keiki Genkai, and enjoy that guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all for helping and support, and yeah. Also, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King, which I hope you guys enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Orochimaru transformed into his snake form. Thousands of white snakes that were composed of his body and his giant, ugly head. As both him and Naruto battled, he took his eyes off Minma for just a moment, and Minma was gone. As Minma then burst from the ground, as he trapped Orochimaru in a box. Orochimaru tried to break out of it, as he tried to break the seal array and go underground, but he could not. As Minma and Naruto activated the seal, Orochimaru was torn inside as spikes rose up and pierced through him as he came out of his snake form, dropping down to the ground, trying to regain a more better form, as he could no longer sustain the body with the hundreds of snakes. He had tried to paralyze Naruto with the blood that evaporated, but it could not work, because Naruto pores are releasing gas as well from his ball release. As Naruto took Orochimaru's head and incinerated the body, Kabuto had to flee, because he knew if he stayed here he would die instantly, so he ran. He ran for his life. On the other hand, Guren and Karen was taken by Minma as they made their way back to Konoha, back at the village. As Snappy and Jiraiya didn't like this one bit. They knew that Naruto and Minma were powerful, but Orochimaru was a sly, tricky bastard. But when they heard that they were back, Minato did not doubt them one bit, as Minma had brought the girls to the IT department, as Naruto gave the head of the man. As Jiraiya looked down the head of his former teammate, also Snappy, as memories went through their mind of their past. But Naruto excused himself as he needed his way. He would talk to his father later, for now there's something that he had to do. Making his way to his apartment, he found something he wrote to himself a long time ago. As it was an image of Orochimaru, there was one of Kisame, and there was a drawing that he made himself of the swirling mass of the guy that took me away from him. As he crossed out Orochimaru's face, and there was also a letter that he wrote to himself, telling him to stay true to what he believed in. As Naruto felt something jump on his hand, as he looked up to the ceiling, water. He wondered where water coming from. As he shook it off, not really paying attention to that. Before he could do anything else though, Sasami arrived. She told him that she knew, his mother told her. Now she understood why he blew her off. She had hated him, she had been angry, but now she understood. He did it in a violent way, but he did it to protect her, because he knew if he would have said yes to her feelings, he couldn't exactly accept them because he wouldn't feel anything, and he would just be hurting her. But still, she wanted him to think it over. She asked him if he wanted to go through with the marriage to Damon. She told him not to answer yet, as she don't just think it over, as she made her way off. With that out of the way, the fox came to speak to Naruto, as he called him to the mindscape. The fox told him that something was up with the seal. He didn't know what it was, but Naruto's chakra was seeping inside the seal. It was supposed to be the other way around. His chakra was supposed to be dropping inside Naruto's system, but now Naruto's chakra was seeping inside the seal, and didn't know what the hell was going on, and it was unnerving him. As Naruto told him that he would take a look at it. But with that out of the way, Damon arrived. It seems like he was watching Sasami as he threatened Naruto, as he told him that the both of them could fight and sort this out. Damon had become quite powerful the past couple of years, and he thought that he could stand up a chance against Naruto. So, he spoke to the clan head, that was Fukaku, to have a sparring match between them. But he also made a sudden threat that it wouldn't be his fault if something happened, and Naruto couldn't fight anymore. But they can finally end this with a feud that they had once and for all. Well, the feud that he had because Naruto didn't really think about that at all. With that he left, as he went to go talk to Fukaku, who he found talking to Sesame, as a man who wanted to make sure that his little girl was okay. With a recent situation going on, meanwhile the Akatsuki was contacted by Unki. Well, they couldn't go and kill Naruto because he had something they need, the fox inside of him. But Nagato knew exactly what to do. In the midst of war, the TLBs will be used, and the Akatsuki will take them, but right now, all of the TLBs were called back to their village and they were locked away. And they were in hiding, not even Zetsu could find them. After all, the world was tense, and at any moment, any small event could start a war. And it will happen soon enough. They just need the right motivation. And Nagato will cause that war, and then he will solve it, and everything else. So yeah guys, so basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across, please check the first episode to begin new episode. You've got to be joking, said Naruto, as he stood in the IT department. Guren was in front of him as she was sitting down in a chair. Her hands were strained on the table. Not that she could do anything with the people inside the room. Menma was leaned up against the wall. Minato was over to the side, and Ibiki was next to Naruto. As a girl, looked pitiful. She was not the brash, violent woman when she was at Orochimaru's side. No, she just looked pitiful. But Naruto's statement was, well, there was a reason. She's not lying, said Ibiki. And why does that matter, said Naruto. Why should we restore life for the enemy? He's just a child, Guren said. If I'm not there, and given that you kill Orochimaru, the others are going to take advantage of the situation. Yukimaru will want to find me, and he will try to run, and if he does, they will kill him. Please, I'm begging you, she said. She turned her head towards the Hokage, as Minato looked towards the girl. She told him that she's willing to give them every single information that she had on Orochimaru, all of his base, every single thing that she knew, all of his underground deals, as long as they saved this to the boy called Yukimaru. This would be a big bonus for the Leaf. Corruptions that Orochimaru was in, Konoha can finally wipe him off the face of the earth. Naruto has dealt with Orochimaru himself, so no, they need to wipe him away. To wipe him clean from the slate of Konoha. No longer Orochimaru the Sannin, just a dead man who's been forgotten. And what if this is some sort of trap, said Naruto. How could I have set a trap? I was captured the same day. Before, said Naruto as he looked at her. I'm not lying, she said. You can do whatever you like, and I already said I'll give you everything I know. You don't have to use any techniques to force me to talk. I'll tell you everything, I'll spill everything you want to know. Every single detail that I've seen over the past couple of years. As long as you save him. Well, I don't believe you, said Naruto. She clenched her fists. Damn it, you're wasting time. The longer we spend here, the less chance of saving Yukimaru. Before Naruto could say anything, Minato looked towards him. Come with me, he said. As Naruto followed his father exiting the room, as they went into the hall, as they came towards the glass mirror where they could see inside, but the others could not see them. Don't tell me you're really buying this, said Naruto. Ibiki believes her. Naruto is the head of torture and interrogation. He has a way of getting things out of people, and she's gonna willingly give us the information on what we want. We don't need her willing support, said Naruto, and Yamanaka could easily pry the information from her mind. Yes, but it would be best if we get everything from her mouth, the truth, and she's willing to give us all of this. If we save this innocent boy, and from what she has told us, what do you think? He asks. As Naruto sighed, it wasn't in his description to help the enemies, but his father was insisting on this, saying that this girl could be a good source of information, that he's willing to tell them everything, and she will be coming along, said Naruto. Yes, but precautions have already been made by Menma, so that she can't betray us. She will be showing you the path, and it will be your job to take care of the enemy, and bring back the boy. As Naruto turned towards his father with a serious look, if she does anything out of the ordinary, even slip the slightest, there will be no more talking. Minato understood. If she asks for the help and betray them, well, at that point he will have Inoichi forcefully remove the intel from her mind. And, given the situation, if her fighting back, her mind would end up getting destroyed, and she will perhaps die after that. But if she was willing to give them information without any hassle, it would be better, because some information could get jumbled up. But if they had to forcefully take it, they will. As they made their way back to the room, as Naruto looked at her, she was giving him that pleading gaze. But it didn't really unnerve him any bit. After all, recently, she was the enemy, and he still saw her as someone that should die. But he agreed with his father. Finding all of Orochimaru's bases and wiping this man from the face of the earth would be the best course of action here. As Menma looked towards Naruto, who gave him a nod. Time skip. Guren, Menma, and Naruto were making their way as she was bringing them to the location. As Guren was moving as fast as possible, but yet she could tell that these two were a lot faster as they were keeping up with her with such ease. They finally arrived at the stop. It was an empty, deserted area as they landed. Remember, if you try anything, said Naruto. Guren nodded. They had placed seals all over her body. So if she disobeyed or go against their will, they could take her out rather easily. I promise I won't, she said. Guren had taken Yukimaru's mother away from him, and from that day on, once she met him again, she decided to be there for the boy. In any way possible. Orochimaru was dead. As she looked over towards that Naruto guy who killed him, she had heard about him from some of Orochimaru's lackeys. The Crimson Death said to never leave his enemies behind, never leave them alive. Yet somehow the slippery snake about to escape. But at least Orochimaru was gone now. She hated the way that he was always using Yukimaru, as he was always experimenting on him. And the boy always felt so weak and went into 3 days coma, 4 days and all that afterwards. And she was always worried, but Orochimaru told her that he would be fine. After all, he was just a means to an end after all, something that she hated to hear from the man. As she knew if it came up to it, Orochimaru gave her the job to kill him, or be killed herself. So she was glad that he was gone, even though she was one of his loyal subordinates. She came to love Yukimaru even more than her loyalty to Orochimaru. It's right over there, she said. Underneath the chasm, there's a secret underground base that leads you towards an empty castle. That is where the hideout is, but it's currently being governed by a man known as Renji. I was the one that was in charge, and he was my second in command. Him and his forces are near, along with Yukimaru. Well then, this is where you come to a stop. As she turned towards Menma, what? I have to go in there. If they... I'll handle it, said Naruto. But they will try to hurt him if they know that you're coming after him. Well, they won't know, said Naruto. Keep an eye on her. But Menma grabbed her hand, stopping her from protesting. It will be fine. Your friend will be rescued. Fine, she said. Wait. Do you remember his description? Yes, said Naruto. Show him this. She held her hand together. As Naruto watched her, she formed a crystal. She could use her chakra, but she could not use that at them or the seal would react. As she formed a flower-like crystal and tossed to him as he caught it. Just show him that. Tell him that I'm out here waiting for him. As Naruto made his way off. Don't worry. It shouldn't take too long. She narrowed her eyes. You two don't seem like brothers. What? Well, you're so different. He's cold. And seemed like he would kill you without even hesitating, but you're different. Well, situations force us to be this way. But if this is a trap, and my brother is in danger, you know that this won't work out well for you or your little friend. You know that, right? It's not a trap. I'm willing to give Konoha whatever it wants, as long as Yukimaru is safe. And why is that? I thought people like you were monsters. After all, you do work for Orochimaru. Well, I can't say I wasn't. But Yukimaru is special to me, more than my job to Orochimaru. So as long as he's okay, I'll do what you ask. Well then, I guess we'll just have to wait here. Meanwhile, as Naruto snuck through the secret underground castle, it was rather easy to get inside, as they were just as subtly getting Josu there, trying to invade your mind the moment you arrive to make you turn away from this place. But Naruto was able to dispel it rather quickly, as he made his way. The place was silent, really silent, but he could sense a lot of movement up ahead as he placed 2 fingers on the ground. Their chakra was relatively weak, but there was a few strong ones up in the far corner. As Naruto's chakra spread through the area, he then felt someone, small built, as their chakra was strangely compact and tight, but it was large, immensely so. She did say that Yukimaru has an abnormal amount of chakra, so perhaps this was a boy. As Naruto could feel his chakra, it was calm. And a chakra can show a lot on someone's personality. He was calm, timid, but he was a nice kid. As Naruto moved, he felt something as he turned and threw a kunai. It pierced right through a bat as another one flew off. As he threw another kunai toward it, the thing screeched, releasing a small sonic wave that blew away his kunai. Well, 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 a voice said overhead, as Naruto saw someone walking towards him in the darkness. And what do we have here? As the bat landed on a man's hand. He had darkish hair, he had black eyes and a scarf around his neck that hung down his back, green pants, and a blue shirt with no sleeve. I'm surprised you get past the genjutsu. You must be a ninja, as the man finally stepped out of the darkness. He spotted Naruto. His eyes looked over Naruto. Red hair, with a dab of blonde in it. A mix between purple and bluish eyes. Uzumaki crest armor. Standard, dark crimson and black. You're the Crimson Death, said Renji. As Naruto moved, Renji brought up a kunai. As Naruto's sword came out at that moment. As the kunais and blade clashed, except the blade was far sharper as it teared right through the kunai. That was the last thing that Renji saw, as Naruto took his head clean off. He then dashed down the hallway. In the darkness, his speed moving through them was immense. As Naruto sliced and decapitated, moving through all the enemies. He then felt something as the room above him started to shake, as a fist came crashing down, breaking through the ceiling, a giant hand tried to grab him. What's all the commotion? A giant oaf said to him. The man was large, muscular, and he looked quite stupid. Who are you? The man said. As Naruto did not answer the man, he just narrowed his eyes. Not talking, huh? I'll just crush you, said Gosu, as he leaped forward. He swung his fist towards Naruto. As Naruto raised his hand and caught it, Gosu brought down the pressure as the ground under Naruto exploded because of the force. But Naruto's knees did not bend. As Naruto's chakra started to swirl, he pulled his fist back as Gosu swung, but Naruto ducked. He was too slow. As Naruto slammed his fist into Gosu's stomach, Gosu was about to laugh at the weak attempt, but he felt something inside him as he dropped down to the ground. The shockwave of the punch, the amount of strength that Naruto applied that he sent right into Gosu's body, ruptured a couple of his organs as he dropped, coughing out blood. As Naruto flipped over him, once he flipped, he twisted his blade as Gosu's head was taken off. He kept on dashing down the hallway. I don't know who you are, but you shouldn't have come here. Strange missiles were sent towards Naruto as the ground exploded. Got him in the first shot. Wonder what happened to Gozu and Renji. A rather short man said the cloak. The moment he said that, he felt the place becoming cold, extremely so as he looked down. He saw his breath. Before he could blink, ice spikes ripped right into his body. As he screamed out in pain before, his head cocked to the side. The next thing Naruto knew, a strange blue creature appeared in front of him and swung. As Naruto twisted his blade and drive it forward, but the creature caught his blade. Can't hurt me with your idiotic blade. Now you're all mine. The thing's body extended, far longer than normal, as it tried to wrap around Naruto. It indeed captured him, as it started to squeeze. As Naruto flashed to one-handed seals, his body started to glow as magma started to leak from him. The thing whipped around and screamed as Naruto grabbed him and held him tight, as he burned him into dust. With that, he kept on moving as smoke filled the entire area. And this is where you die, a voice said. A tall man with a breather over his mouth and silver hair stood on the ledge, looking down towards where he filled the entire smoke area. It was when he saw Naruto burst out of it, as Naruto's body was steaming. What the hell? As the man saw steam around Naruto like a protective spear, as Naruto did not breathe in any of that smoke, as Naruto shot forward. The both of them clashed as the man brought his arm up and he had a bracer on it. As he tapped Naruto's blade for a moment, he brought her on his leg, but Naruto grabbed and twisted him in mid-air and threw him. As Naruto's form a Rasengan in split seconds and dropped, as he drove it within the man's chest. He then kept on moving, rushing down the base, not wasting time on these weaklings. When he finally arrived towards the room where the boy was, he felt the boy in the room, but he was hiding as Naruto pushed open the door. He heard something in the corner. As he grabbed onto the bedside and threw it over, the boy was there under the bed as he placed a hand over his head, hiding his face. He was shaking. He was afraid. As he was clutching something in his palm, it was a crystal with a flower inside. "Yukimaru," said Naruto. Yukimaru blinked as he looked up. You know me?" As he looked up towards the man that was standing there, he had red hair. He couldn't see much of his face because of the darkness. As Naruto reached into his clothing and pulled out something, Yukimaru blinked. "Guren is waiting for you outside." "Really? She's here?" As Naruto simply nodded. "She's waiting on you. Now let us go." He picked up the boy and simply threw him over his shoulder. As they started to move, Naruto heard footsteps. Yukimaru felt himself being put down on the ground. As Naruto saw all of the other chakra life force that he felt, all of them rushing towards the center. There he is, the intruder. As Naruto saw a small army of sound ninjas. A clone poofed into existence right beside him as he picked up Yukimaru. Before the boy could say anything, he was gone in a flash. As Naruto unsheathed his blade. "Well then, come and die," he said. Meanwhile outside, as the clone Naruto appeared, "Guren!" As Guren's eyes went wide, as she heard her name being called by that voice, Yukimaru, as she rushed over as fast as possible, the clone placed him down as Yukimaru shot forward and hugged her. "I knew that you would come back for me," he said, as he hugged her tightly, with a happy smile on his face. "I promised I would," she said to him. As the clone then looked towards Minma, an explosion could be heard. A series of explosions went off as the clone poofed away. The entire base got toppled within seconds. A titanic blast then ruptured as it swallowed the entire base. As Naruto could be seen walking ahead of it. As Guren looked up towards him, there wasn't even a splash of blood on him, or was he injured? And the underground castle was covered by a lot of debris that came rolling down and crushing anything that remained. Well, not that any of the man down there was alive. As Guren looked up towards him, "Thank you," she said. "Thank me by delivering what you offer." As she nodded, yes, these two were definitely not alike. As Minma simply smiled. Time skip. "It seemed that she was telling the truth," said Minato, as he looked towards Naruto who stood in his office. "Well, she was," said Naruto, "but it is not my policy to trust the enemies. I understand that." "Minma, your mother, and Katsumi, is with Karen. She's a fellow Uzumaki, you know." "I know that." "Aren't you gonna go there and talk to her?" said Naruto. Minato nodded. "About what?" Naruto asked. "Well, try and get to know her," said Minato. "I'll pass," said Naruto. Minato sighed. "It is most likely, now that Orochimaru is dead. She won't be going back there. And knowing your mother, she would want to make her stay here within Konoha on a probation period first, to make sure that she can be trusted," said Minato. "But the girl is not really a fighter. In all actuality, she's basically a civilian that just knows how to use chakra." "What about the other one?" said Naruto. "Well, she's been very compliant. We just have to see where things go from here. Fugaku came to talk to me, along with Inabi." "About what?" said Naruto. "Well, you did challenge Inabi's son to a battle, didn't you?" "No," said Naruto. "Well, I already know that you wouldn't," said Minato. "He was the one that challenged you, didn't he?" "Yes." "You and Damon never really got along. I thought that was over, given the recent events. Seems like he still has a grudge against me. And what brought this up all of a sudden?" "Male pride, I presume. Inabi is the head of the police force. And from what I've heard, Damon has become one of their strong Uchihas." "So you're gonna fight him," said Minato. "I intend to do so. You know you can't kill him, right? This is just a friendly spar." "He's challenging me," said Naruto. "In actuality, they're trying to challenge you." "How do you come by this?" said Minato. "Well, It's the Uchiha arrogance. To prove that you're the best. To be known as the one that took out the Hokage's son. Given your reputation, and my reputation, I'm supposed to be quite skilled. So if you defeat me in battle, it's quite the honor boost for him. And my reputation would be lowered. Well, no one ever think of your reputation lowering. You just recently took out Uchimaru, a S-rank Missinin, a very dangerous man. That's not the problem. He's boasting, and it's annoying me. So I want to finish this and get it over with. You know you can't kill him, right? Said Minato, repeating himself once again. Killing the leader of the Uchiha Force, son, would be quite problematic for you, despite you not being there. Would you mind not telling mother about this? As Minato narrowed his eyes, you only don't want her there because you know that you're gonna do something that she would frown upon. Naruto, you won't kill him. Do you understand that? As arrogant as he is, Inabi, he's a big member in the Uchiha Force. Things have been calm recently, and there has been no obstacles that are creating problem in Konoha. So killing him would just cause problems. And I don't want you to do that. But I can understand if you're angry. He is marrying Sasami. And why should that get me angry, said Naruto. Minato sighed. You know I just want best for you, right? Of course I know that, said Naruto. Alright fine, I won't tell your mother about this. But I will be there, along with Fukaku. You will have to talk to Mikato yourself, because she knows. And if she knows, she might tell your mother, and she will come. As Naruto looked off into the distance, you've been avoiding her lately, haven't you? People have been rather troublesome lately, said Naruto. My mother told Sasami about my state. I heard. You're not angry at Kushina, are you? Naruto looked toward his father with a deadpan look. He knew that he couldn't get angry because he just didn't feel it anymore. Oh, sorry about that, said Minato. You know that she's the one looking out for you, right? Yes, but things have become rather troublesome. What do you mean by that? Sasami paid me a visit, said Naruto. As Minato narrowed his eyes, let me guess. Damon found out about this. This is where this other challenge came from. Well, your intellect was said to be up there with the previous Hokages, so I can't blame you for figuring out that quickly, said Naruto. But yes, that seemed to be the common reason. I know he wanted to test himself against me. Well, I'll be there. If you don't want your mother to find out, you're gonna have to talk to Mikato yourself. As Naruto sighed once again. These people, and all their talks. Time skip. Mikato came back from the kitchen as she placed down the 2 cups of tea right in front of her. She then sat down, as she did not utter a single word. She just looked at him. As Naruto picked up his tea, as he sipped on it. Good, he said, as he placed it back down. But she still did not say anything. From the moment he showed up, she did not talk to him. She just gestured for him to come inside, and told him where to sit. She waited. She did not say a single word. You're getting back at me for blowing you off. Am I correct to assume that is a reason? Who knows, she said. So you did blow me off. I mean, no one could be that busy. And I've been trying to talk to you for the past couple months. You did not know what transpired between me and Sasami, he said. Well, recently no. But your mother did told her about what is going on with you. And then she came to me and asked if I knew. And I told her yes, and she told me what happened. And I must say I was disappointed. Gravely so. I mean, you hurt her badly. And being her mother, I was kind of pissed off at you. But the situation wasn't grateful for any of you. I knew what you're struggling with. Because you never hide anything from me. And Sasami know that as well. She understands. And despite what happened, she forgave you. She told me that already. So I see no reason to be that angry at you. Even though, still kind of angry, she said. That you kind of broke her heart. Let me guess. You don't feel any negative effect. No sadness about that. As Naruto simply nodded, she sighed. Well then, it's not really your fault. It's just what is going on with you. So I have to refrain myself from smacking you over the head for what you did to my daughter. I would apologize. But you know it's not sincere, said Naruto. Yes, that I know. But it would still be good to hear. He bowed his head. I am deeply sorry for what I did to you and Sesame. Much better, she said. Now that you're here after all these couple of months, what have you been up to? Well, this and that, he said. But let's get down to the real reason why I'm here. And why is that, she asks. I don't want to tell my mother about the upcoming fight. I was quite surprised hearing about that you're going to be fighting Damon. You do know that he's one of the top Uchihas in your age group, right? I mean, he's risen through the ranks. He isn't a part of the police force despite his father being the head of the force. He's a jonin of Konoha at the moment, and he's quite powerful, but yet you don't seem concerned at all. I wonder if it's what is going on with you, or that you're just that cocky. Well, I've never truly been cocky, said Naruto. Yes, I presume that you're right on that. So it's just a confidence, isn't it? He said nothing. Well, just watch yourself. He's quite dangerous. But between me and you, I knew you're gonna win. And despite everything, I'm actually cheering you on, in secret. And why would you, said Naruto. I mean, he's a part of your clan, not me. Well, she looked around, don't tell anyone, but I kind of hate him. Is that so, said Naruto. As just like that, the tension between them was now gone. Yeah, he's much too arrogant for my taste. We Uchihas are all arrogant, but him, it's just too much. And I can clearly see when my daughter doesn't like someone. And besides, I already know who she should be with. Oh, and who is that? You tell me, she said. Oh, should I know, said Naruto. Well then, guess you just have to wait and see. Seems you will, said Naruto. I want you not to inform my mother about the upcoming fight. My father will keep it to himself. I need you to do that as well. You're gonna hurt him, aren't you? I wouldn't say hurt, said Naruto. He disrespected your pride, I presume. Because when he go on his rant, his behavior and the way he talked, he even tried to undermine his father once. But still he had respect. And given someone like you who he hates, I suppose it was rough. Tell me, did that got you angry? Not precisely, said Naruto. Then why don't you want me to invite your mother? I know what you're gonna do. You won't kill him because of the situation, but you're gonna hurt him. Probably break a leg or two. Isn't that right, she said. Will you keep this to yourself, said Naruto as he ignored her question. Well, okay. As long as you do something for me as well. What's that? If things don't work the way they do between you and my daughter, I want you guys still stay friends. That will be up to her, said Naruto. Yes, but you will have to put in a bit of the effort. I know that much is not happening between you two right now because of your situation. But, please, just try. When you and her was friends, her life was happy. She was always smiling, having fun. But now she's been moody. A lot lately. Something a mother can't just keep the sea on her daughter like that, you know. I'm sure your mother's worried about you as well. A lot. We do talk, you know. I'll try my best. Promise me, she said. Alright. I promise, she said. Right timing, said Mikato. As someone walked inside. Mom? In here, honey. Hey, Mom, Sesame paused. Naruto? Oh, look at that. I forgot there was something I had to do. See you guys later, said Mikato as she got up and walked away. As Sesame watched her mother leave, knowing that it was nothing that she had to do, she just wanted to give them time alone, as she heard the door close. Sasuke wasn't here, he was always busy with police force work. And Itachi was always busy as well. She hasn't seen much of him lately. But when they do come home, they talk a lot. So, she said, as she sat down where her mother was sitting. I heard what's gonna happen. You accept Damon's challenge. You know he's been running around, telling everyone in Uchiha compound how he's gonna beat you, right? Is that so, said Naruto. He's not a pushover, like in the past. Many now are comparing him to Itachi. And you know that my big brother is powerful, she said. Why are you doing this? Is this because of me? What did he say to you? Well, He did want me to stay away from you, said Naruto. She clenched her fists. That bastard. Who gives him the right? Still, I don't want you to go be doing something just because of me. Oh, it's not, said Naruto. This for me. Oh, she said. Did you want it to be about you, Naruto asked. No, you don't have to worry about that, she said. I just don't want anything to happen. What do you mean by that, said Naruto. You know, for something bad to happen, Inabi is a respected member of this clan. And you and his son are gonna battle, despite being a friendly match. Our generation know that it's not, because you two have not liked each other for a long time now. And most of them are coming here to see a bloody match. And if things get too out of hand, You what, said Naruto. My father respects you. So does Sasuke and Itachi. And they have nothing but good things to say about you. Despite some of your mannerism. But still, if things get too out of hand, and you get shadow banned by this clan, you think things will go to the extreme, and that Inabi would somehow convince your father to not let me come back here. Damon is a sore loser. And given the situation, you don't have to worry about anything, said Naruto. After all, Damon isn't a clan leader, and he's the one who asked for this. It wasn't me. And once this little match is over, there won't be any more squabbles between us. You aren't gonna try and kill him, are you? No. That would cause more problem than good, said Naruto. So, why? Why exactly do you want to fight him? I know that you don't care about much things now. So what's the big reason? Something he said or did must have triggered you. Something that you deeply care about. Tell me, what is it, she said. She got to her feet. As she stepped rather close to him, as he smelled her perfume. It was rather nice. Something I care about, huh? Yes, even in your state, there still must be something that you care about. I know that you love your sister. You love your brother, your mother and father. Is there anything else that you love, she asked. As she stepped forward. Other people, like your grandmother. Pervis Sage, that fun nickname that you used to call him, remember? And isn't there someone else, she said. The more she thought, the more closer she moved. As he simply looked at her, the door then opened. As she stepped back. Oi, Naruto. As Naruto turned, to see Sasuke standing there. It's been a long time, said Naruto. Yes, it has, said Sasuke. I heard about your battle with Damon. You know I'm gonna be there to watch what's going on. Well, I suppose everyone will be there. I heard he's been running his mouth telling everyone that he's gonna beat me. I heard that too. He said that he's gonna make you beg for mercy. As Sasuke placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Between me and you, I never really liked the guy. And I don't want him marrying my sister, despite clan politics and all that crap. So why don't you put him in his place? And stop this nonsense with you and my sister that is going on. After all, the two of you seem to have become friends once again. So what do you say about that? Seems that most people don't like Damon, said Naruto. As Sasuke seemed to laugh, it seems that way. So, no hello, sister? After being gone for so long, asked Sesame with a smile. Well, I was just getting to you. Haven't seen Naruto in a while. You're my sister, you're here all the time. As her eyebrow twitched, as Sasuke seemed to laugh as he made his way towards his sister, and gave her a hug. He's been out for a long while, doing some things, so she hadn't seen him in some time now. As Naruto just watched the two of them, as Sesame gave him a look before looking away. Time skip. As Kushina was bringing Katsumi to the park, she didn't know what was going on. She couldn't find Minato. She heard that he was in some private talk or something like that. Minma was busy, including Naruto. He wasn't at his apartment. And Mikato was also busy. Well, at least she had her precious daughter to hang out with. And she brought Katsumi to the park, but she wondered where everyone was. Meanwhile, the place was packed. Most of the Uchiha population came to see the little event. Excluding the Uchiha population, the only person that was there that was non-Uchiha was the Hokage and Naruto and Menma. The rest of them were Uchihas. Most of them were still on their work, surveying the village and all that. But most of them were there, including the leader of police force Inibi, as he was here to watch the proud match between his son. Despite his son's arrogance, Inibi had great confidence in him. His son had proven time and time again that he was no slouch. And finally, he would be able to show that, although Minato did release some information, that Orochimaru the Sun was no more, and Naruto and Menma took him down. Well, it was a joint effort, everyone thought. But everyone knew who was the strongest between them. And right now, Damon was gonna face off against the strongest. Well, this would be a good show. And to also prove that Uchiha's strength has not diminished at all. As the pride of his clan was inside of his son, that he was gonna show right now to the Hokage, and including Fukaku. As his son was worthy enough to marry Sesame, showing that the union should be strong. Even if he loses, he will fight and show that he's powerful. Yes, he would not disappoint. As Inibi walked over along with Fukaku. Ah, Hokage-sama. I'm glad that your son decided to accept this request from my son. It's a good chance for us to test the future generation. They have already grown in strength. Now, it's only a matter of time for them to display it right in front of us. It's a shame that we don't have anyone else to go up against your other son, to show his strength as well. Well, I believe this show should be enough, said Minato. The both of them are powerful in their own rights. So you should get what you want from Naruto, when you think about Menma's skills as well. Well, if anything else, this should be entertaining, said Fukaku. They then turned as they heard loud noises. That was when they saw Damon, as he was backed by a few couple clan mates, all of them, in his age group, as they were all laughing and joking. Damon had a big smirk on his face as he was fully decked out in the Uchiha attire, full black, with a symbol all over him, a sword strapped across his back. He had a proud smile on his face, as he looked over towards his father, and gave his father a big smile. His father gave him a approving nod, as he stepped right in the center. So where is he, said Damon, as he looked around the arrogant smirk. Meanwhile, you know you didn't have to walk me towards the arena, said Naruto as he looked towards Menma. Well, I was afraid that you would walk in with your sword in your hand, and if you did that, you were gonna cause more damage than we need right now. You have to understand the situation is calm right now, and this is just a strength test from the Uchihas. In beating Damon, you will show that he still has a long way to go. But don't go overboard and kill him, because he wouldn't be good on anyone's reputation, and it would cause some backlash. You know, this small little battle is turned out to be more than expected. Damon had to go and run his mouth and bring everyone that he wanted. Well, everyone is here. Look, Itachi, Sasuke, and Sesame. Damon made his way over to Sesame, as he gave her a big smile. Come on, wish me good luck, he said. Why did you have to tell everyone, she said. Is this some kind of boast or something? Well, I did want them to see that the Uchihas are still strong as ever. They already knew that, but you're trying to hype everything up. You know I don't really like that. Come on, it's not a big deal. I mean, he did accept, said Damon. Yes, because you challenged his pride. Are you defending now, said Damon. I'm not defending either of you. I'm just saying that this could have been avoided. Damon sighed. But it's gonna happen either way. And he accepted. You shouldn't be babying him. After all, isn't he a powerful ninja? I'm not babying him. I'm worried about you. Me? Worried? As happy as I am to hear that you're worried about me, you have nothing to worry about. As he placed a hand on her shoulder and placed her on her. As he placed her into a side hug, as he saw Naruto coming. I've been waiting for this opportunity for a long time now, and I assure you I won't disappoint. As she seemed to squirm a bit under his touch, but it was barely visible. But the key in her eyes like Minato and Fukaku noticed. As Naruto arrived, the other Uchihas turned towards him as the anticipation was heavy in the air. Everyone wanted the fight to begin. As Itachi stepped in front of Naruto, Itachi-san, said Naruto. As Itachi simply gave Naruto a smile, as he patted him on the shoulder gently, as Sasuke came over as well. Remember, kick his ass, Sasuke said, as he whispered to Naruto. As everyone cleared the field, as Minato looked over towards Menma, who nodded as he went through hand sign. Menma erected a long barrier around them, as they were on the massive training field. They had enough space to fight and launch jutsus as they pleased. Now, said Minato, this is just a friendly competition, to test your strength, to test our newly inspiring future leaders. The option to kill here is completely off the board. If your opponent is no longer able to go on, and you are told to stop, you must end the match immediately. Do the both of you understand? Asked Minato, as the both of them nodded. Alright. If things are getting out of hand, the barrier will be dropped, and you will be stopped. Understood? As they nodded once again. Alright then, let's have a clean, fair match. As the both of them separated. Well, they seem rather tense, said Mikato. As Fukaku looked at the two boys, looked at each other. They were not a favor of each other for a long while now. Well, I hope this can sort out their animosity between each other, said Inabe, as he smirked, seeing his son getting ready, as the others all group around, ready to watch a battle unfold in front of them. As Menma glanced towards Seisumi, who looked kind of worried. There's nothing for him to worry about. You know he's not gonna lose, right? No, that's not what I'm worried about. As she narrowed her eyes at Damon, there was something off about the way he spoke. He's been waiting for this for a long time. It just seemed like he was up to something. And that made her worried. In Naruto's state, he doesn't have a proper sense of judgment. She didn't want things to happen and spray out of action, because she knew that a part of this was her fault. Damon was doing this because he wanted to prove to her that he was strong, and she didn't like it one bit. Are the both of you ready? Asked Fukaku as he stepped forward. They nodded. Alright then, begin. Neither boys moved, as Damon smirked. What? No walk, no with your blade. Seems like you're taking this for a joke. As Damon raised his hands, look around you. All of my friends are here to see you lose. After all, they all know how this is gonna go. I really wonder, what has changed between you now and you 4 years ago, Naruto asks. Well, I'm no longer a headstrong kid that rushed into things unprepared. I've been waiting for this since that moment, the humiliation. Oh, I assure you, I'll get my revenge today. And once I do win this, you remember what I told you back then? What you must do. Stay away, said Naruto. As Damon smiled. And what if I say no, said Naruto? Well, you wouldn't mind making another bet, for when I win for it to stay the hell away. Not saying anything. What, cowering out? And what do I get if I win, said Naruto. What the hell do you want, said Damon. That, said Naruto, as he pointed towards Damon's shoulder. What? No. What? Afraid, said Naruto. Damon pulled out the blade that was given to him by his father. He couldn't give this to Naruto. He wouldn't lose. What was he talking about? This was an ancestral blade that ran down his family. He looked toward his father, who shook his head immediately. No. What? Chicken, said Naruto. Damon growled. Of course you'd win this. Fine. If I win, you stay the hell away. If by some miracle that you win, I'll give you this blade. As Inabe's eyes turned murderous. What the hell was that brat doing? That blade has been passed down in their family for a long time now. And he's willing to bet it all. Inabe knew the real reason for this match. He knew of his son's jealousy as he looked towards Seisumi. He narrowed his eyes towards Fukaku, who just watched intently. So, what do you say we finally settle this, said Damon, as Naruto narrowed his eyes and stepped back. As Damon pulled the blade, it had a black handle, with strange markings all over it. As chakra flew into it quite easily, the metal was chakra absorption, as he spun it around his arm, showing the blue mist as he moved it rather fast. Damon moved, his speed was ridiculous. But in the span of the second that it took for him to reach Naruto, Naruto unsheathed his blade and blocked Damon's strike. As the two metals grind against each other, usually Naruto blade could cut through other blades with ease, but Damon blade wasn't a normal blade at all. Fukaku watched. He wanted to hear Naruto's response. He knew what Damon wanted. He'd want to hear if Naruto would say that he must call off the marriage between the both of them. If Naruto had said that, Fukaku would have lost all respect in him. If he thought that his daughter was some kind of object. But he didn't think that way. He wanted her to have her own choice, to make her own reason. And that is one of the reasons why Fukaku respects the boy so much. Now, they were gonna see how this match plays out. As Hasemi watched intently, Minma just watched calmly as Minato stood there. Amongst the crowd, everyone was waiting to see them finally go all out and see who's the strongest because Damon has been hyping himself up. He really think that he could win. On the other hand, Mikato simply smiled as she watched. She knew the reason why Naruto didn't want his mother here, because his mother would want to bring Katsumi. And despite everything, Naruto wanted to keep the innocence that they had about him in their eyes. Despite his mother knowing things that he did, Katsumi did not know. But he didn't want his mother to see him doing things. He knew it would hurt her despite not feeling much emotions for anyone. But he still knew. And that made him work so hard to make sure that they were always kept away from the violence that he was about to commit. That meant he was gonna hurt Damon badly. Damon jumped away from Naruto as he smirked. Well then, he says, he shifted his foot as he cracked his neck. Let's begin this for real, shall we? Hey kid, why don't you make this a bit fun and beat the living crap out of him? After all, it's been a long time since I've seen a good show. Wasn't Orochimaru strong enough? I fought Orochimaru recently, said Naruto. Well, still, this guy has been having it out for you since day one. I wanted to settle this once and for all. Didn't know that you came to care that much for me. What? Of course not. Being your jailer and being known as the one that was defeated by a simple Uchiha. I hate these bastards, and it would be quite pathetic to know that you, my container, was so weakened to be defeated by one of them. You would be a disgrace to me and my name. Oh, so you're doing this for your own self-image? Of course I am. Who said that I care a damn about you? Said Kurama, as Naruto simply chuckled in his head. You know what? You're right. His face is getting rather annoying to me, and I really want to hurt him, just to prove to him that he's nothing. So, he's pissing you off. He's making you angry, said Kurama. Yeah, said Naruto. He blinked. Wait. No, I'm not angry. Kurama simply said and he went quiet. As Naruto focused back on the fight, inside the mindscape, as Kurama watched Naruto chakra, things are changing. Yes, they are. But you guys will be in subscribe right here. If you want to next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted, but I'm off and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.